I'm Marina Brizar and I'm the UK and Europe Director for Talent Beyond Boundaries. I'm with my colleague, my very esteemed colleague David Manicom, the Global Director of Advocacy for Displaced Talent Mobility for Fragomen and Talent Beyond Boundaries. This is a short on scalability and scale, as well as sustainability of displaced talent mobility programs. David, before we were just discussing that before a refugee was a refugee was a person who moved in whatever means possible to safety, and that was very often through work. We're now at a point where definitions sometimes limit us, and we know that through work you can get sustainability and safely, and in 50 years' time, there will be a time and a point where that is the normal way that things are happening. There is now an imperative to speed that 50-year timeline to 5 years. So, question to you, if you had $50 million to reform what we are trying to do at TBB for displaced talent mobility, how would you use it and why?
Well, it's time for us to stop wishing for scale and to start designing it. Talent Beyond Boundaries and its partners are accumulating and have accumulated a massive amount of knowledge about all the needs of all the steps in the system, and we're learning more every day in more and more countries. We need to start building bridges from small-scale pilots to the large-scale mainstreaming that we all believe will eventually come. And we're going to need to do that in a methodical, informed, nuanced way to accelerate. We have a real chicken and egg problem. We can't convince employers and employer associations and national governments and development agencies and the World Bank to buy big time into what we're doing until we have large systems in place and lots of refugees in our talent catalog. But we can't have 1 million refugees in our talent catalog and 2 million displaced people until we've got somewhere for them to go. We need to build both first. That seems like an impossible obstacle, but it's not. Industry is used to this. It's called venture capital. You make investments on a planned timeline to build something. To help us build that, the funds can be used to leverage the expertise we and our partners are accumulating. We need to serve as a detailed policy design consulting institute, embedding our knowledge in staff and expertise in all of the relevant organizations at considerable scale. That means full-time deployment into certain government departments. I think that putting those pieces together and building methodically medium-scale pilots through that knowledge transfer so that they're successful is one of the paths to designing scaling rather than wishing for it.
I love that. I think one of our key strengths is that we are very evidence-driven, very data-driven, and so to be able to globally centralize our monitoring and evaluation efforts, but also to leverage what was born out of Talent Beyond Boundaries, that is a talent catalog, and giving not only that knowledge, but the access and accumulating further knowledge for best practices means that we are not multiplying in our size, but we're multiplying in our impact. So sounds like a good investment to me.